If you could please, let me just, the first question is, what prompted you to become a communist and
Yes.
when did you become a member?
Yes.
Please do feel free to answer.
Yes. You see, I came to the communist movement through the anti-imperialist national movement. Within the Congress itself, we were in the left. And as leftist congressmen, we organized ourselves first in the Congress Socialist Party. At that time, the Communist Party was in existence at the All India level, but that had not come to Kerala. So we joined the Congress Socialist Party. After joining the Congress Socialist Party, we came into contact with the communists. We had been having constant discussions, at the end of which we came to the conclusion that the communist line is more correct than the Congress Socialist line. That's how I came into the Communist Party.
What year was this? What date? When was this? What year?
You see, we formed the Congress Socialist Party in 1934. Immediately afterwards, I came into contact with the Communist Party. And in 1936 January, I joined the Communist Party. The second question.
About the Ranadive Thesis, about Telangana and Ranadive.
Yes. You see, this Telangana agitation should be seen in the historical context. After the end of the war, there was a countrywide revolutionary mass upsurge. And this Telangana was part of that. At that time, the Congress leaders were trying to have freedom through negotiations with the British rulers. We in the left were trying to organize the masses for revolutionary action. But the Congress also had to rally the masses. So the two streams combined together, and there was a mass upsurge. In which the Congress-led part was much bigger. Ours was much smaller. But ours was more organized, was more militant. And there was a series of strikes, working class actions, middle class employees actions, peasant actions. As a matter of fact, the then United Bengal, there was a widespread peasant movement. There were peasant movements in other parts of the country as well. Students' movements and other things. And in the meanwhile, some of the most militant actions, the most historic of which was the revolt of the Indian Navy men in Bombay, for which solidarity support was extended by the Bombay working class. So this Telangana was part of that. At that time, the Telangana movement was directed firstly against the British rule, secondly against the Nizam rule in Hyderabad. That was how the thing started. It made some contribution to the development of the situation, which forced the British to leave in India in 1947.
Was Ranadive
Yes.
he right?
See, Ranadive Thesis was the first attempt to estimate the situation that arose after the transfer of power in 1947. There was a previous discussion also. In the previous, the understanding was that India has won a status in which the Communist Party can work through parliamentary means. That was the first stage. That was self-criticized. And a new line came. This Ranadive line was a correction of the earlier one. But in correcting the rightist mistake, it went into the leftist mistake. That was later on corrected.
So Ranadive was wrong.
Eh?
Let me write. Was Ranadive wrong?
No, you see, he was wrong. But for understanding what was wrong, we should see first what was right. You see, that line was the first time when the Communist Party gave the slogan that the new rulers, the Congress rulers, have to be fought. For any political party in the country at that time, it was the first. The Communist Party came to the conclusion that the party should organize itself on revolutionary lines in opposition to the Congress rule. In this, however, the possibility of working in the trade unions, peasant associations and other mass organizations, and also working in parliament, this was neglected. That was what was wrong. But for correctly estimating what was wrong, you should see what was right. The necessity for mass struggle against the Congress, that was what was right. In that, leftist mistakes were committed. These were corrected in 1951.
Can I ask you about the role of Rajani Palmdutt and Harry Pollitt and the CPG?
You see, in the early years of the Communist Party of India, the British Party played a big role. You see, the young students who were, young Indian students who were studying in England, they first came into contact with the communists. They were one section of the pioneers of the Indian Communist movement. Many who were trained by the British Communist Party, of which, of course, Harry Pollitt and Rajani Palmdutt were the leaders. They came to India during the days of the war. And it was then that the Communist Party started becoming a national force. So in that sense, the British Party in the earlier days of the Communist Party of India played a big role.
Did the CPI resent Palmdutt's influence?
No, not at all. On the other hand, we are grateful to him. The first generation of communists were trained in the application of Marxism-Leninism to Indian conditions through the works of Palmdutt. We are grateful to him.
What are your memories of the 1957 election victory in Kerala?
You see, we were able to win a majority of seats, but on a minority of votes. We polled about 40% of the votes. But because the opposition to us was divided, so we got an absolute majority. That is because the ruling classes, the bourgeoisie, was divided not only politically but also communally. The presence of the Muslim League was a big factor. Similarly, the resentment of certain Hindu sections against the Christian domination in the Travancore Cochin area, that also operated. So these differences helped us. Of course, we had built up a tradition of working class and peasant struggles.
Was this a landmark for the CPI, 57 in Kerala?
Yes, it was a landmark in one sense. That we came on the national All India map as a force. In that sense, it was certainly a landmark.
Do you think with hindsight the 64 split was unavoidable?
Yes, unavoidable. Because the differences between the two groups were so sharp, there was no room for compromise.